larger than life. He'll give you strife. He's Todd. He's tall, he's mean. He's labeling machine. He's Todd. Rides a motorbike. He'll tell you what it's like. He's Todd. Don't know what he'll say. He'll scare the kids away. He's Todd. He's Todd.
Yeah, let me do this real quick. All right. Hey, so different environment behind me. I am actually in, I'm going to screw this up so bad, Mashantucket. Actually, I think I got that right. Connecticut. I'm at Foxwoods Casino over here and Resort. I'm actually out here for the Brother International whoop-de-doo get together, whatever you want to call it, right? I haven't done one of these things in 8 years. And so my powers to be basically, I don't know if I needed a refresh or the team needed a refresh, but anyway, we're all out here right now and I'm fully badged. I'm Todd. All right. In fact, after this, I got to go back down. They're teaching me how to sell stuff. Yeah. You can believe that? So anyway, we had a great dinner last night and a shout out to David Burke, Prime Steakhouse. And it's kind of a funny story because I ran into Steve, the owner, just being me and my personality and a few libations. I got to go in their wine tower, and I'm not a wino, but it was this big, huge tower, 30-foot tall, something like that. They have $2 million of wine up there. And so I actually got to climb the ladder and he took a picture and then he showed me where they aged the steak. And big, huge locker and Himalayan salt and all sorts of stuff. But the first thing I noticed, me being me, is that they had like toe tags on this meat, aging meat. It sounds disgusting. But anyway, I said, they use it to stamp the date and how long it's been aging, but they were also using Sharpies. And I said, is it me? I can't read that Sharpie. So, of course, me being the salesman 24/7, I basically talked them into purchasing some printers and using QR codes. So that way they can run by the meat, they can scan it with their phone, they see where the meat is from, when it came in, how long it's been aging, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, a shout out to Steve and David Burke, Prime Steakhouse here at Foxwoods. So the other great news I have is my son, in fact, I just got a text, is now, has been offered a job at Gray Bar in Phoenix. And so what a better way to sell brother in Phoenix is get your flesh and blood in there. But anyway, congratulations, Justin. Look what the industry has done for me. Huh? Be careful. Anyway, so we are, thanks for showing up, by the way. We are continuing with our guest this week, and it's another collaboration. Now, I think everyone out there has seen the collaborations with Fluke and AEM and Softing and Trend Networks, and man, it's just exciting stuff. And the good thing is we're all friends in this industry. And so funny story how this worked is that I was in Bixby last go around at Bixby, and I think it was Orlando. In fact, it was in Orlando. So anyway, I'm just walking around and I wasn't even paying attention. And I looked up on this screen and there appeared to be a Brother app on this screen. So as I looked around a little further, I'm like, holy hell. I said, this is fantastic. And I never really even knew that there was a beginning of a relationship that happened a long time ago. So we have since in my spare time, what me and my guest did is, well, not my spare time. I'm always on the clock, boss. We put something together that is going to save time and money. And I'm going to have my guest talk a little bit about that and As everyone out there knows, I don't have patience for things and standing there and printing this way, typing this way with big clubs like this. And so we have found out a way to make the tech's life a lot easier out there, and the project manager's life a lot easier out there, and the admin on the inside a lot easier out there. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And without any more BS, I'm going to introduce Dan. I'll probably hammer your last name.
Okay.
Dan Klimke.
You did it.
I don't have my glasses on either.
No
I'm
problem.
trying to look at my little screen. Normally I have the two giant 40-inch screens, and now I'm using this little computer that you guys can't see out there, and I can't see crap. So anyway, his name's in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. But anyway, myself and Dan have been talking for many months about this, and it came to fruition. And again, the whole idea is not only preloading the certification unit out there, all right, in this case, NetAlly, but also loading the printer with those same identifiers. All right, because for the most part, except for really faceplates, the port identifier is going to match the cable wrap on the back side, and so that's really a time-saving process to kind of do the one and done. And so, Dan, I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Sure. Thanks for having us.
Normally, I'd be doing this at 10 a.m. out in the San Diego area, but I mean, it's 1 o'clock here, East Coast time. And so I'm already, I'm ready for a nap after this, and I'm not kidding either. So anyway, what I'm going to ask Dan to do is talk a little bit about NetAlly, anything new and exciting, and kind of run through what NetAlly has to offer, and then I'll probably chime in a little bit, and we're going to talk about how together we're going to save a lot of time, and obviously time is money. So Dan, if you're ready, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dan.
Let's do it. I don't think I've ever had that kind of an introduction, but I'll take it. So I thought I would start out with just a quick sharing of just go to our website just to show people who NetAlly is and what we do. But I want to tag on something that you had mentioned. You talked about friends in the industry. And what some people may not know, if you don't know NetAlly, you probably know our tools. We were actually a part of Fluke Networks for many, many years. I mean, our origin as a company really goes back to 1993 when Fluke launched a product called the LAN meter. It was the very first handheld network analyzer. At the instance, it was a token ring analyzer for those old folks around who know what token ring is. And then quickly moved into Ethernet and on from there. But through various corporate moves and machinations, our particular part of the business got sold off, first to a company called NetScout, and then subsequently we were purchased by an investment company, and now we're a standalone independent company called NetAlly. So a lot of the tools that you see from us, they look like a lot like the tools you might have seen from Fluke Networks many years ago, because they are. Same people, a lot of the same people that were involved in marketing and engineering, R&D and development about these products. We come from literally decades of experience working over at Fluke. And it was such a pleasure down at Bixby to see people like Mike Grindell, who has moved on to Trend, Lisa Schwartz at AEM, Mark Mullins at Fluke, who I used to work for many, many years. It was just so gratifying to be able to see people in person, face to face. Some of those folks I haven't seen for years. So it was really fun to be able to see those people, and great to meet you too. And so, Todd, what you were looking at when we met at our booth at Bixby was the LinkRunner G2. And I'll get to that in a second, but just to give people an overview of what NetAlly does. I mean, yes, we're in the business of making handheld test instruments. We are not in the business of cable certification. We do leave that to our friends at Fluke and AEM and Trend. They do a fantastic job with cabling certification products. our focus is on active network testing, so active Ethernet networks and active Wi-Fi networks. So that's what you see when you look at our product line, as a mixture of products that are dedicated either for testing wired Ethernet or Wi-Fi, or in the case of our EtherScope, which is our flagship product, combines both capabilities in a single tool. So that's real quickly, who we are and what we do. But to kind of now drill in on the conversation we were having at Bixby, I wanted to bring up the LinkRunner G2, and I apologize for looking over this way because this is where my other screen is. LinkRunner G2 is, we call it a smart network tester, and it is primarily for testing wired Ethernet, copper, fiber, up to 1 gigabit per second connections. Nice small handy unit. We can see at the top here, we've got an RJ45 test port. There's an SFP transceiver slot where you can really load any type of SFP up of 1 gigabit speed. There's a USB-A port on the top, and what you see here connected is a little Wi-Fi adapter. LinkRunner G2 doesn't have an embedded radio, but you can add a peripheral like a USB Wi-Fi adapter to give you Wi-Fi connectivity. We also have a USB-C port. So between the USB-A and USB-C port, you can attach various kinds of peripherals. I wonder if Brother might have something we could attach. I bet you do.
I think we might, Dan.
Indeed. And also, if you have with a Bluetooth Wi-Fi Bluetooth connector here, that Bluetooth connection could be utilized as well to connect to a peripheral. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of an overview of what the product physically looks like. That's the LinkRunner G2. But I also wanted to point out that the thing that caught your eye was the app. And what I've got going here, I've connected to one of these LinkRunner G2 units remotely. And we're seeing the user interface for the test screen. This is the auto test results. And but what I'm going to do real quickly is just pop down here to the home screen. And what you see here is the fact that this is an Android-based device. So Android is our OS, and that enables us to load third-party apps onto the product itself. As you can see here, there's a QR barcode reader, there's sound recorder, flashlight, Cisco, wireless something or other here. Pretty much any third-party app that you want can be loaded on the product. The benefit of that is any kind of app that you're used to using in your workflow, whether that's some of our technicians, they load a trouble ticketing app. So when they're in the field using the tester, they can actually interact with their trouble ticketing system on the fly. But what you were interested in, what you saw, was the iPrint and Label app that we had put on there. So that allows you, if whatever you can do with that iLabel iPrint and iLabel app on your phone, you can now do on the tester. The big benefit is that you've got network connectivity. You can get network connectivity through that Wi-Fi adapter, through the Ethernet connection to the network, and in fact, then you can also connect your printer as a peripheral directly to the tester itself. So I think that's where you're headed when you're talking about speeding up that workflow.
Well, and really, one of the things that just caught my eye, and I didn't know this because I've been busy learning how to sell all week, is you got a QR reader, and I'm always talking about barcoding, QR code, and the fact that you even have that on there, because I'm really starting to push and very repetitive in pushing QR codes. And I don't care whether it's you're at a steakhouse or if you're in an MDF or an ITC or a data center, or it doesn't really matter, is that I think the way that labeling is heading is more toward auto ID features because you can get more information on there. So, I'm really excited about that. And one of the things that we're going to do down the road is your smart people will talk to my smart people. Obviously, it's not me. And we're going to figure out exactly what we can do. Now, obviously, iLink and Label will work right now with this, and I'll show you a little outline here in a few minutes. But one of the things, Dan, if you got just a second, as kind of a prelude into what I'm going to talk about, is your cloud service and the ability to go up there and grab information from your cloud service.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me walk you through how that works. So, what Todd's referring to is a complementary cloud resource that we call Link Live. Anytime a test has been completed with one of our testers, that test data can be uploaded into that Link Live cloud service as a repository. So you can save, it's unlimited. Save as many test results as you want, interact with them how you will, share them with others. So if you're a contractor or a system integrator, Link Live is a fantastic way to log the data that you've collected at a customer site. Gives you a way of collecting those in the form of reports, and you can even give your customer access to their information in your Link Live account. So I mentioned here we're looking at a LinkRunner G2 that I've connected to in a test network. What Link Live looks like, this might be kind of hard to see given the screen resolution, but effectively anytime that, like I said, anytime that you've done a test, that information is uploaded into the Link Live cloud service. And from there, we can do a sharing. We can create an album. This is kind of like a Google Photos kind of approach where we can select the data that we want to share with someone. No charge for that, no licensing involved whatsoever. So that makes it really easy to share with others the test results and other information that you've collected using the tools.
Is there a way, and again, it's I haven't done my homework, Dan, but is there a way that you, prior to getting out to in whatever environment you're in, a closet or one of those aforementioned acronyms, is there a way that you can pre-do what you're going to test as far as identifiers, and whether it be an Excel spreadsheet, and either load that in the unit, or is it manual as far as?
I guess I'd say it's kind of mostly manual, but the one thing that we have available is this idea about labeling. I'm sure that word warms your heart, but effectively you can pre-set up category. Basically there's job. Let me back up. There's ways of categorizing the information you're collecting. There's jobs, there's comments, and there's labels, and each one of those can be utilized in order to organize the data that you're going to collect. So there's not really a methodology for gross uploading of a whole list of things to the product, but again, if that information is available and exists in your iLink and label product, then you've got access to that through the app, through the product, and its network connectivity.
Okay.
Some of the other data that we can produce then is things like network maps.
Wow.
Where we can actually discover who's on the network, where they connected, and generate a map. The other thing that catches a lot of people's eyes is the Wi-Fi capability that some of our products have, which is the ability to go around a network, do a site survey, and then do the analysis in Link Live. So I just wanted to share that with people, because it's not just about testing an Ethernet link and reporting that, which is very important. But there are a lot of other capabilities that are enabled with the Link Live cloud service as well.
Yeah, I didn't know about a couple of these things, and for some reason it didn't dawn on me that you guys were NetScout at one point, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Between 2015 and 2019, we were a part of NetScout. That was our little interim period between Fluke and where we ended up now.
Well, because every time I go out, and I'm going to show everyone a flyer out there that I put together as far as how the collaboration works at this moment. Obviously, there's bigger things to come. But I always, I search for pictures and stuff like that. And every time I Googled you guys, Fluke would come up. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, that's I wonder what that, now it makes sense now. It makes
because like I said, one of the product brand LinkRunner. I mean, we introduced LinkRunner at Fluke back in, I think the original one is in 2002, and at that time was just a tiny little tester, and it's grown up since then, added more capabilities. But that's why people are pretty much instantly familiar with what NetAlly does, is because we can say, oh, do you remember LinkRunner? Oh yeah, I've had LinkRunner AT. You have blah, blah, blah. Well, you know who we are from our past. Just different iteration, and now lots of new technology as well.
I didn't even think about that network mapping capability. So again, the way that our PTE 550W, in fact, we can even do this. We have a new app out now called the Pro Label Tool, and I'm still kind of trying to get used to that, but I found a couple of really cool features is that you can essentially do what we've done before, which has been limited to the PTE 550, but you can now do it on the PTE 800W, which we call our lunchbox. And so the cool thing about this is that every one of those has some type of identifier. So when I'm looking at my screen right now and I'm seeing these star topologies, I'm seeing identifiers along with that. And the beautiful thing is that that information can be extracted and printed if need be. All right. And either ahead of the job or somehow if there's Mac work going on. But the nice thing about that is that that can be extracted. And as long as you do it as a CSV in some point, then we're solid. We're absolutely solid.
Yeah, that's it. In fact, the data that we collect in Link Live is absolutely exportable as a CSV file. So if you've gone into a network and done a discovery, you've gathered information like, and I could just double click on something here. Let's just double click on that access point. And then it'll pull up the detailed information about that particular device. In the case of an access point, who are the devices that are connected to it? Have we seen any problems? Oh, this is kind of an important one. AP association capacity full. That means that AP's capacity has been met and no further clients are going to be able to connect to that. What addresses are present on that as well. So there's lots of data that Link Live collects that can be exported as a CSV file.
Yeah, so IP addresses, I mean, obviously, if you're doing security devices as well. So again, all that can be exported and then uploaded into either the 550W or the PTE 800. So one of the things that I'm going to share real quick, and you guys have kind of seen the same flyer out there, but I did this last night, and this should probably tell you what type of what level of inebriation I may have been in. But it you know, it's kind of the same deal that we've done for our other partners, but really it's essentially this, you know, to where office admin does the work, and then that information can be placed on the cloud. That information can also be emailed to the tech out in the field. So whether you're using Android or iOS, they can connect that device to the printer, and then the database that was extracted or made ahead of time can be loaded into either the PTE 550 or the 800W. So again, this is just kind of where the starting point is on this one. And, you know, talking to Dan, we always talk ahead of the show, but talking to Dan, there's a lot of cool things coming. And, you know, just the fact that they already had one of our apps on there was absolutely fantastic, which means at some point we'll be able to get, whether it be iLink and Label or the Pro Label tool potentially, at some point we'll be able to do that, which again makes your life a lot easier out in the field, in the ability to, you know, either print on the fly. Another cool thing about some of these apps is you have the ability to basically do the work on the app and then hit the print button because it's talking to the machine. So Dan, I think there's all sorts of cool things that we can do going forward. And you know, so again, it was funny. Just the one thing that caught my eye was that damn old app that we had out there. And it was just so cool to see that you had partnered up at some point with Brother. You know, so I was doing cartwheels over that. Can you imagine a 6'6", 300-pounder doing cartwheels?
It was a sight to see.
No. Oh, here, let me get it. I'll get a ha-ha for that. Hold on. There we go. So anyway, Dan, anything else that comes to the top of your head as far as, or anything that you've missed or I've missed at this point?
Well, actually, just one thing, if you could pull up that diagram one more time. Just
let me do that.
Let me do that. Point on that.
Yep. Let me share this. And again, I'm working from a single. All right, there we go, right there.
So on the right-hand side of that screen where you showed the the phone connecting to the printer,
Yeah.
in the case of using one of our products that has the Android-based operating system and connectivity, you don't even need the phone. You can just go straight from the tester to the printer. Uh, so there's just like no reason to
That
use
would
the
be
phone,
cool.
right? Absolutely, yeah. So it just it the fact that you've got access to basically anything you can get to on the internet. Your email application can be loaded on
Yep.
the tester. You can get your email on the tester. And you use that whole thing. You don't even need the phone in the picture.
Well, and that's one of the things that we've been talking about. And obviously there's procedures, and I'd like to just, I got no patience. I told you that before the show, but these things, you got to hook this guy up with that guy or that, whatever, the technicians, propeller heads, geeks, whatever you want to call them, like my brother. So anyway, that is in the process. And you know what, I think this is going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be huge as far as because your iOS, or excuse me, your OS is Android. I think this is going to be fantastic. And again, our app works on both platforms, iOS and Android. So again, I think it's just going to be really cool. So folks out there, stay tuned on that. The next thing is we'll get some more information out to everybody about this new partnership that we have going on here. And Dan, anything else?
That's it. No, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you
Man,
and
it's been
with your
great.
audience, man.
Thank you for the personality. That guy I had last week, Sam. Oh, he was horrible. No, actually, no. Sam's a good friend of mine.
I was going to say, I hope that's
No, I don't know. Sam, no, he's out there laughing right now. But no, you know what? I appreciate the enthusiasm, the willingness to work with somebody like me. And
we'll tolerate you.
And I look forward to big things. So thank you very much. Stay
good.
warm out there. We're going to show Dan's contact information. So if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to Dan. But Dan, thank you very much. And I think Kate's going to show some information.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
You betcha. Cheers. All right. So there's Dan's information. What a handsome man, huh? Dan, and a great personality. He's fun to talk to. And so we get along real well. So anyway, if you got any questions, comments, or need some more information, please reach out to Dan as well. And Kate, what do you got for us next? You got the barcode coming up? I'm sure you do. So next show, April 28th. Right, Paladin Technologies. I think I mentioned this when I was in Colorado. Was that it's the first time ever we're going to have a contractor / integrator on there. They specialize. This particular Scott over at Paladin specializes in data centers, and they're involved in labeling every damn day. So we're going to go into a little more into the weeds from a contractor's side of the fence, and how important labeling is, and the successes and some of the pitfalls if you don't do it right, and all sorts of good stuff. But I wanted everyone out there to get it from a contractor side, because I sit here and I spew this BS, and from a manufacturer side, then we have other manufacturers on, then we'll have Chuck or Blake or all these industry experts. But I really wanted to talk to somebody who is out there installing all the connectivity, and then part of that install is actually labeling. So you get to hear it from Scott's side over there at Paladin. And then coming up on May 12th, we have UCL Swift. And again, it's another manufacturer, deals in a lot of fiber. But you know what? You got to label that fiber. You got to label the LIUs. So anyway, we're going to talk to UCL Swift as well. And I don't know if Kate's going to throw it there. Hey, guess what? We got our own YouTube URL. Let me give you some clap on that one. All right. So anyway, we got enough subscribers now. I think Kate kind of threw me under the bus last show, I think it was, in Colorado, where she basically said to the audience, "We don't have enough followers to have your own YouTube URL." So I groveled. I paid a lot of people off, and we got our own YouTube URL. So if you haven't yet, shoot a picture of the screen. I'm not going to grovel. I'm going to ask you nicely. Please go out there and subscribe to my channel. The cool thing about that is that we're always uploading some of the older videos on there, as well as the latest ones. And there's a lot of good information out there from the videos. I mean, we all have a good time, but it's all broken out into different segments of labeling and barcoding and safety labels, and you name it, it's out there. 60 episodes now, Kate, I don't know, 59, holy mackerel. So anyway, as far as contacting myself or the team, most of you have already got my information. I'm usually out of San Diego County. Oh, speaking of, what have we got? 1 minute left there. It doesn't matter. You'll stick around another minute. So I got the mobile command center, BS Mobile set up. And so I'm converting the back of this giant toy hauler, big 40-footer, into my studio. And so my new desk is on the way. Thank you, brother. My 2 new 32-inch TVs, thank you, brother. So anyway, we're going to have all that set up next week. And Kate, I'll talk to you on that big banner after this. But anyway, we're going to be up and running, and look for the BS Mobile at some point to pull into your neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood. Anyway, so I'm out on the West Coast. There's my information right there. I got Mr. Jamie Brookover, who is in Virginia Beach. I think Jamie's homesick today. He's actually got the flu, and well, at least that's what he told everyone out here. Anyway, Dan Cobb is actually with me out here in Mashantucket, Connecticut. Unfortunately, Bruce Page is also here. So Rob is here too. And Mr. Craig Robinson hails out of Sarasota. So with that being said, I want to thank you very much for making this whole series very successful. I want to thank Kate out there. I hope you're getting a lot of good information. I'm always taking questions. I'm okay with your comments. I just looked at this whole background here, and I mean, what that's a mugshot right there. So anyway, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, any suggestions for the shows, we got a lot of good content coming up, a little snippet content, and Kate's got it all in her head and orchestrating this whole thing. I'm just the booth babe, if you will. I'm just the new face of brother. So anyway, again, thank you very much. And you know what? Have a very, very blessed week. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Thank you.